Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ready, Set, Pop. My name is Mariel Pastori, greeting you from Mexico City, and I would like to introduce you to my beautiful hosts, Lucas Apache from Brazil and Mauricio Sierra from Colombia. Hello, boys.
Hey
Hello,
Mariel, hey
guys.
Mauricio.
How
How
are
are you?
you?
This is
Great.
our
So
10th
excited.
episode, right? Track 10.
10th
This is
episode.
special.
Wow.
I never thought about this.
I remember when we were just planning on doing some podcast, and now look at us. We're on the 10th episode. It's
Yes,
crazy.
It's incredible.
it's
Yes, oh,
amazing.
it's so great. I know, and we've been getting a lot of feedback from all of our followers and viewers out there. And I want to give a special shout out to our number one fan, Adrian Casas, who has been following us since the beginning, and he's been writing to each one of us and to the channel and the Instagram account. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you so much for your comments and your feedback and all your love.
Yeah,
Gracias,
yeah.
Adrián.
Thank you, Adrian. And I want to say that all this week we were like testing each other, and we are like friends right now too. And we had amazing conversations talking about CCM and pop singers and a lot of stuff. So yeah, um, so all love for you. Thank you for the support.
Yes, thank you, Adrian.
Yes,
And
thank
be
you.
there because you might be in one of our episodes coming soon. I hope
Please.
you agree with that.
Of course, yeah. Uh, what a good idea, Mariel.
Yes, I was thinking that we should also bring our fans and viewers uh, with us to share their thoughts on pop music because if they're watching us, it's because they love pop music the same way
Pop
we do.
music.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
yes. So, anyway, today's episode is dedicated to the underrated princesses of pop. This is a topic chosen by Lucas here, and I would like to ask you, Luquitas, why did you choose this topic? I know that you love some of these underrated singers, but why specifically this topic?
Yes, we started our videocast, the track 1, about the pop princess. Now is the track 10. And there's a lot of girls who wasn't in the same charts and the same numbers like Britney and Christina, but they made great music. And as I mentioned in the very first episode, the Pokemon soundtrack made me want to discover more about those girls, and I never stop it. And those girls are the reason why I met Marielle and why I met Mauricio and a lot of friends around the world. So we have a lot of girls to talk about. So that's the reason why I chose.
Yes, definitely. And I just want to say, if you don't listen to the singers you were expecting us to talk about today, don't be mad at us. We will be having other episodes dedicated to this topic because it's a
Yes.
huge wave of singers from that we can talk about. So we will just focus on four each one of us, and we will just comment in the at the end of the video. But we will definitely be doing more of these underrated pop princesses, right,
Yes.
guys?
And we always talk more than what we should. So
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
we have time.
Yes, so okay, be ready, guys, because we're gonna have a lot of fun today. This is a topic that I also love because you know I love underground and rare music, so um, we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, so let's start. Lucas, who are you going to talk about first?
Okay, I'm gonna start with a girl that I know that you guys love too. That is Brooke Hogan. Uh, Mal wanted to talk a little about Brooke too at first. So if you want to mention something, Mal, please feel free to say. Okay.
Okay, of course, look at yes. Yes, she's one of my favorites.
Yes, me too. Actually, Brooke Hogan is the daughter of Hulk Hogan, who is a wrestling fighter, very famous, especially in the US. Like a personality, he's on television all the time. And she started to sing very young and play the piano. And she had this contract with Transcontinental Records. uh, the label of Lou Pearlman. In 2002, she
Mm.
signed it, and she started to work in her debut album. Actually, she worked with Rich from LFO in some
Mhm.
tracks back then. And from these tracks, we had the first single, Everything to Me, in 2004.
Mhm.
That is this one that I love this song so much. And this was supposed to be the first single for the album, This Voice, uh, that never had the chance to be released. This was released, I believe, in July 2004. The album was supposed to be released in September. Uh, they canceled. I don't find find out the real reason why this never came out, but I think that was because of the label. Lou Pearlman was during that moment with a lot of fights and battles with Justice, and if you guys check, there's no much being released in this label after 2003.
Mhm.
Most of the things that were being released with Transcontinental were re-released of previous albums and things, mostly by Backstreet Boys. So I believe that's the reason why. But to promote this, they made a special television uh, show with Hulk Hogan and Brooke showing them to record it. And this was so big on television that they decided to create a reality show called Hogan Knows Best, which I love. It was how I discovered Brooke back then on VH1. And this reality shows how Hook were very protective with Brooke. She was a teenager. She wanted to make music and to have fun with her friends. So the dynamic was very much this, but the background of all of this was Brooke creating music. So as she toured after this pilot that was on air in 2004, she toured with Hilary Duff in the Most Wanted tour, and with Backstreet Boys tour in the Up Up Close and Personal tour. There was a little tour they did before the Never Gone album released in 2005, and actually the single that I show enter on the Billboard Hot 100, number 97, and it was the
Mhm.
number one in the charts of the physical media back then. So it wasn't that bad. But when the show started, Brooke started to work in her official debut album that we have in 2006. But it's very cool to watch the first season of this. Yes, this album, Maria, Undiscovered. I have it too. Yes.
I
Great
need that
album.
Actually,
album. I need that album.
yes,
It's not fair.
you
I love
need.
it.
Yes.
Great
I
album.
received this with a photo signed by
Oh.
Brooke that I forgot to bring here to show you guys.
Oh.
But it
Oh wow.
was very cool from her website back then. But what I was about to say is in the first season, you can see a lot of tracks that are not on this, unfortunately. So there's a song called Love You Both that finished one of the episodes that I love it, and I was expecting to be on this, but unfortunately is not. But you can listen online. And this was actually very good for Brooke. They finished the second season with the premiere of the video, the first single, About Us, this one with Paul
Mhm.
Wall.
Mhm.
So because of that, it have heavy, massive airplays on the radio. So she was number 33 on the Billboard, and the album was released a little bit later. Let me check the position she got from this. Number 28. I found it in my notes. October 26th. So they planned a lot of things for this album. The second single was supposed to be the track Heaven Baby, that I love. It's like a reggae song with Benny Man. It was,
Written by Nelly Furtado.
yes, yes, thank you, Marielle. It's a very sun song. Like, I love this song, it's very fun. and it was on the radio, but it was like a promotional. We didn't have a music video, and in 2007, few months, they released it for a moment as a third single, but also kind of promo, and it was like more R&B, very similar to the things that were on the radio back then. And we have a kind of music video too that was aired on the reality show with scenes from the reality and Brooke singing the song for a moment. You guys can find this on YouTube too, but was pretty much it. The label wanted to re-release this album, but Brooke was against. I'm very curious to know what they were planning for the re-release it, but that never happened. And after 4 seasons, they canceled the reality show, mostly because Hook was always like the media talking about how overprotected he was with Brooke. That was not healthy sometimes. Like there was like these moments when he puts a GPS on her car without her knowing to know what all the places that she was going. So the media wasn't that happy with that relationship, and Brooke gained her own reality show. Brooke Knows Best, that I also love it. She lived it with two friends, like partying and make music. And this was the moment that she started to record the second album,
Redemption.
Redemption. Thank you, Marielle. I don't know I can say this word. This one. Please say again, Marielle.
The Redemption.
The Redemption. Oh God, it's easy.
Yes.
The Redemption is this album. Before this, she released a mixtape to make some buzz. The Judgment Day, and it's very funny because it's like she's being judged in the end of the world, and he in this album she finally have her Marielle
Redemption.
redemption. Yes. Why I can say that? Okay, this album wasn't that good. Sold like 3,000 copies. I believe it was on the Billboard album charts, but very, very low
Low.
positions.
Yeah.
Yes, very low. And these have the singles Hey Yo that I love with Colby O'Donis. Is my favorite single from this album. Let me check the other ones. I think Falling was a single too.
Falling was a single.
Yes. So a few songs more like hip hop, like the first album. And there's some bubblegum songs here, like All I Want Is You, that I believe it was planning to be in the first album or something, because it's very pop, it's very different from the other tracks. You'll Never Be Like Him, too, is very pop, very bubblegum. I love this album. And unfortunately, after this, her show was canceled and the mess started. Like, if you watch it, the crossover episode that I mentioned, Vanessa, the singer from Brazil, it was kind of the same with Brooke, because she started to release songs like randomly. In 2014 she said that she would be releasing a song called Beautiful. This song never came, and suddenly in 2015 she released a country EP. 2017 she came back to pop with other EP, and 2019 she made Touch My Body. That for me is the favorite thing that she released it after all the big moments that she had. And she is always talking about her comeback. Like, hey guys, now I signed it with this, I signed it with that. There's a new song. There was a moment that she released one song, and the song like
Never
disappeared
came.
from.
Yeah.
No, actually, it came, but disappeared after. There's nowhere to listen to the song. It actually
Yes.
wasn't a good song, to be honest. And now it's a mess, and we just can hope for more Brooke Hogan music. I believe. So, Mao, you wanna say something about this girl that we like so much?
Oh, I just want to add that for me it was very special in that moment in time to be part of this process of the making of the album, because I remember in 2006 I was like on vacations in a town here in Colombia, and I didn't have the channel, the VH1 channel on Bogota, on my parents' house. So in that moment, I was watching. I'm very excited about the releasing of the album because I watched all the process, like all the reality TV with her, and I became an instant fan. Like I love this girl, and I think for me she's like I don't know, like Ciara meets Paris Hilton or something like that. It's like this combination. Because she has some R&B, of course, and at the same time she's very pop, and her image very blonde, very tall. I think she's a hottie. She's so beautiful, and
Yes.
it was so nice to see this process, and I became a fan. And I remember one of my cousins at that time that we were like watching the TV series. She was like, "You are a fan of this girl? This girl is like a product from a reality." But I was like, oh, she's my new goddess, my new queen. So yeah, I want to add that. And I don't know if you mentioned Luquitas, but she was the first artist to sign with the Scott Storch label at the time. That was called
Okay.
Storch Music Company. Yeah. Yeah, Scott
I didn't
Storch.
know that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
Christina Aguilera, of course, work with Scott Storch in the past in
Okay.
this trip album, I think. So yeah, that's maybe the only information that I have different that you mentioned. And yes, it is a good album. Actually, it is very poppy and R&B at the same time. I love this album a lot,
Yeah. It's
and I
very
love this girl.
diverse.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's very diverse, and it's great that I know that it's so frustrating when an artist it's like all the time mentioning that, oh, I'm back and working on my new album, on my new work, and nothing happens. It's very frustrating.
Yes.
But at the same time, she's still on the media, so it's amazing to
Yeah.
see her. I love her, and I love the image that she had in the reality TV. She was
Yeah.
very sweet, very kind, and she was very spontaneous at the same time. I
Yes, and we know that she loves music. She wasn't like a product,
Yeah,
like
totally,
you mentioned,
totally,
and she's
and
very sweet. I once
she's
I
Yes.
very
sent
sweet.
a
Yeah.
message to her saying about her song "Love You Both" that I mentioned that it wasn't on the album because there was when this song leaked. It was the moment that I came out for my parents, and
Mm-hmm.
my father wasn't happy not about this, but he didn't like it. My ex boyfriend, and this song is about she's saying to her father, "Daddy, please don't make me choose between the two, uh, because I love you both." So the song was very special for me back then, and I sent a message to her, and she just saw it, and she thanked me. So she's very sweet too. So
Oh,
that's the reason why I love. Bro. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
great.
That's an amazing experience. Yeah, yeah. And I want to mention too that it was very different from a girl like her, including R&B tunes in her record, because in that 2000 decade all about pop maybe, and it was very rare or very weird for a white girl like her doing R&B music. So I think it was very nice. I think it's like this kind of white girls that make great R&B music.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mao. And now I want to know which one Marielle chose to be the first one because we are just getting started here.
Yes, we're getting started. Thank you for this talk about Brooke Hogan. I know we the three of us love her and we just can't wait for her to release more music, hopefully. And if you see this,
Yes.
Brooke, know that we love you. um, next, I'm gonna talk about someone that is very special to me because she was the first person to tell me yes to an interview, and this is the one and only Lindsay Pagano. I love this woman. This album in
Yes.
particular, I mean, she's fantastic singer. Lindsay Pagano was discovered when she was only 12, 13. So she was discovered at this talent show when she was singing a Mariah Carey song called Vision of Love. She was seen by these producers, and they invited her to be part of it's Warner Brothers, yes, Warner Brothers Records, and they signed her immediately because they loved her voice. They saw her sweet image. She was younger, so than the other pop stars that were coming out back in the day, like Britney or Christina. They were in their starting in their no, back in 2001 they were in their 20s, and Lindsay was only 15. So she was like the youngest of those pop singers out there, and she recorded her first album, Love, Faith, and Inspiration, which was produced by Jude Cole, who she loves. He co-wrote all the songs with her, and her first single, Everything You Are, that song didn't make it to the Billboard Hot 100, but was really popular because it was part of a TV show called Maybe It's Me. I think it's the name of the show. It was the main theme of the show. So she was getting popular. She was touring with Aaron Carter, with Dream Street. She was really getting recognition, but unfortunately, sales weren't at the best, at the highest, because all the competition from back in the day. She was competing with huge stars, and we know 2001 was a time when everybody came out like, yeah, let's sing. So it was pretty difficult for her. And besides what happened with the World Trade Center in New York,
Yes.
9/11, it also changed a little bit things, because people were so worried about what was going on, the war and stuff, that they weren't paying much attention to music. So unfortunately, album sales weren't at its peak, and especially with Lindsay, so she wasn't able to record another album and to release a new single, because there were talks about a new single from this album to be released. I think it was Dreams Like This, which is a beautiful ballad from this album, but it never materialized. She was never able to record a video or anything, so she got dropped. But we can say about her that she's the only one from that time that sung with Paul McCartney, with Sir Paul
Yeah.
McCartney, guys.
Yes.
She met him while being on the studio, and he heard her, and he approached to the music studio where she was working, and he said, "Oh my God, I like your song, I like your voice." And she was like, "Oh my God, I mean, it's Paul McCartney from
It's
the
Paul
Beatles."
McCartney.
I
Yeah.
know, it's not like anybody, it's like Paul McCartney. And
Yes.
so he told her that he would be great if they would sing together. And they did. It's a song called So Bad, which was written by Paul McCartney. And he makes just slight choruses. You can hear Lindsay the more, but you can definitely tell that Paul McCartney is in there. So I don't know about any other artist from back in the day, at least being 15, singing with someone as huge as Paul
Yes.
McCartney. So
Yes.
she had that chance, and a few years later, she was able to record some songs for a new EP, and this new song did have a video called "I Gotta Stop," but this song didn't receive the attention it needed. But she did record some songs for this EP, which are really good. Three Wishes.
Yes. You Have No
Those
Rights
are
is perfect. I love this
You
song.
Have No Right. Yes, 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 yes. I even told her that I have those songs, and she was like, "You have them? I don't even have them." So
Yes.
it was like,
We have.
crazy. Yes, we do. We're fans. So yes.
We're fans,
And then
yeah.
she later auditioned. Where she auditioned for The Voice, where she was part of Team Shakira. Um.
Oh,
Yes, she
I didn't
auditioned
know that.
singing Lady Marmalade. So Shakira is the only one that turned her chair, and so she was instantly part of her team. She got eliminated at the second round.
Yes.
I don't really know how they call it because I don't watch that show. But she was there, and now she's singing with a band of her own with friends, and I think her boyfriend is part of this band. But no new music from her has been released. But I want to give a big shout out to Lindsay because she's an amazing person. She gave me my first interview for Mariel Talks Pop, and she was
Yes.
amazing. She was beautiful. So, and she was definitely part of a very intense wave of upcoming singers back in 2001
Yes.
and
And
deserved
everyone
more.
should watch this interview in your channel because it's very fun. She's very positive person. It was so good to
Yes.
watch. And also, you said that she was the only one to sing with Bob, and she was one of the few artists who became cartoon because she was on a Scooby Doo episode
Oh,
back
yes.
then. It was very fun to see her as a cartoon. So she wasn't like a big deal, Lindsay Pagano.
Yes, people slept on her, definitely. So
Yeah,
if you guys haven't checked
totally.
out this album, please make sure you do and do yourselves a favor because it's a gem, and you would never believe that Lindsay was 15 years old when you hear her voice. So
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
She
You're
was
try-
she was herself on the Scooby Doo, on the Scooby Doo show.
Yes.
yes,
Oh, that's
Because she
great.
was part of Warner. I believe the cartoon is part of Warner too.
it's part of
So
Warner. Yes.
yes, they made this crossover.
Yeah, it was really fun. And well, she's one of my favorites from that time. So I'm gonna pass on to Mao. Who do you have there, mi Mao? Please let us know.
Well, thank you, my Mariel. I want to clarify that this time I'm not talking about maybe any CCM or R&B ones. I'm going to focus on the pop ones, actually. So I'm going to start with a girl that I know you love too. And I think she's the queen of the underrated for me. But because for me, she was like the fifth princess. And she's Willa Ford. She started her career with the stage name of Manda with MCA Records. At that time, you know that Mandy Moore was so famous, so they decided then to change her name to Willa Ford because to avoid the confusion between Mandy Moore and her. But she appears in the Pokemon soundtrack with the stage name of Manda, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. She's from Florida. She started her career like in a TV show for kids or something like that. Then she had. I think this girl was ahead of the time because in 2001 the other girls like Britney and Christina were trying to discover her body and her sexuality, I think. But for Willa was like, I'm sexy, I'm very sassy, and I don't care about people say. And I think at that time she was like judged for that. But in the next year, in 2002, we have Christina Aguilera doing a strip. So I think Willa was ahead for her time.
Yeah.
So after MCA dropped her, she signed with Lava Atlantic, a division from Atlantic Records that is called Lava. And actually today, well, we are doing this on July 17th. Maybe this episode will be released on other date the next week.
July 20,
But
probably. Yes.
yeah. But today the album is the anniversary of the album. Today this album is 22
Oh,
years actually. Yeah,
oh,
because this album,
awesome.
yeah. Oh, I love it because this album was released in 22 years ago. Yeah, in July 17th of 2001. The first track that was "I Wanna Be Bad." It was not bad in the Billboard Hot 100. It was 22 in the Billboard Hot 100, and I think she received a lot of attention because she was she was similar to the others, like to Britney and Christina. This was the trend at the time.
Yes.
But the second track, that is the one that I love the most, that is "Did You Understand That?" failed in the chart because it was released in September 11 of 2001. You know what happened? I think we are going to talk about this in the whole episode because this was
Was the
like a
reason?
mark for
Yes.
US. Yeah, it
Yes.
was like a
Yes.
big impact for US at that time because of this tragedy. So I think it was the reason, as Mariel mentioned, in the case of Lindsay Pagano, I think it was the same for Willa. This song was released in that on that date, on exactly that date,
Exactly.
and it was like a mess because, as Mariel said, nobody was paying attention to music or something like that. Different from the tragedy that was happening in New York and in US, and it was a shame because then she had the opportunity to record Toast to a Man and other records, but it was not the same. Now she's doing like, and you guys help me with that. She's doing like a decoration stuff or something like that for houses. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's it.
She's an
She worked with
interior.
designer.
She's an interior decorator. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes. And it's great to see this girl doing something different, and at the same time, I think maybe she feels more comfortable with that. I think she loved the music, of course, but maybe it was not the time for her to be a singer. And I think she was on the shadow of Britney, Christina, Mandy, and Jessica, very on the
Yes.
shadow. So
But
yeah, it is a shame,
I
but
agree with
because I love her.
you when you said that she's like ahead of her time because she was talking about things that no one was, like the song "Toast to a Man" that you mentioned. Uh, is all about we are girls, we are having fun, we don't care about the boys, and even her Christmas song was
Santa
very
baby.
naughty and sassy in the music video, very funny too. And the album that she was about to release, the second album, was very sexual. The name of the album was something like "Sexy Obsessive," something like
Sexy
this.
sex obsessive.
S- Sex is
Yeah,
so. Yes.
and there's a few tracks that leak it are very pop and very sexual. And from the very beginning, she was going to this kind of music because the song "Not Such an Innocent Girl" by Victoria Beckham, the Spice Girls, was supposed to be her single, and it finally leaked the studio version a few months ago. Uh, so she wasn't that innocent girl for sure, and
For
we love
sure.
that. She made a few
Yeah.
movies too, all her movies and stuff.
And she was, I'm sorry if to interrupt, Mao. I think she was also the host of a TV show in MTV. I don't recall the name of the show. It was something about daring to do something and you get money. I don't
Yes,
recall the
yes.
name of the show.
Yes. And
She
she
made
was
red
on the.
carpets.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, she was part of the red carpets and interviewing some artists. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I have to
Yes.
say, I have a question for you guys because I have to say that I didn't know Willa until like 10 or 8 years ago. I
Okay.
didn't know Willa at that time. I don't know if you know about Willa in that moment in 2001.
Yes.
Okay. For
Oh,
me,
okay.
I discovered her because in 2001, I believe it was 2001, MTV made a special 20 years of pop music. It was always on MTV, so they show like uh, how pop music made the way into 2001. So they were showing like a few clips of Willa Ford. So I was like, who's this girl? Because she wasn't released here. So I kind of knew who she was, and I believe 2004 when I finally have good internet, I downloaded the songs. Yes.
What about you, Marian?
Her song, I Wanna Be Bad and Did You Understand That, were played on the Sky Radio on my house. So that's where I knew her.
I
And
imagine
I
that.
used to buy this magazine called Pop Stars Magazine. And there were like articles about her, and I knew she was dating Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys
Yes.
back in the day. So she was
Yeah.
like being hated for that because of all the fans like I hate her because she's dating the hottest guy from Backstreet Boys, so whatever. But she was
Yeah.
famous because of that. So anyway, but I knew her in 2001 actually. I from 22 years ago already.
Oh, that's great because I remember when I discovered Willa, I was like, "Oh my God, who's that girl?" I didn't know anything about her, and she's amazing. This is the kind of music that I really love. And 2001 is a year that I love. Mariel
Oh,
knows because yeah, because she suggests me, and Lucas, of course, you suggest me a lot of music from this year in special. So it's a year that I love so much the music that come from this year. So yeah, when I discovered Willa, I was like, oh my God, she's great. And did you understand that is probably one of my favorite songs from this year?
yeah. The
So
music
so
video
yeah,
is amazing. The rock part, I
yeah,
love that.
yeah, yeah.
I don't like the rock part.
Ah, I
I
knew that.
think
I
I
love the rock
think
part.
I think
It's
the
kind
rock
of
part,
cringe, but it's
yeah.
good at the same time.
It's weird
It's
actually, but
different. It's
anyway.
different. It's weird. It's weird.
Yes.
And when you mentioned Lukita that she was very sexual and she was very well maybe naughty and, and sexy, I remember the last part of the video. Did you understand that when the guy is cheating on her, but at the end of the video she's
She's
with
with
the
the girl.
girl? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like oh my God. And
Back
I
in the
Yeah.
think
day, those kind of things were like, oh
wow,
God.
Yes.
So
yes, 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 because like, oh
Yes.
my God, what is this girl doing? It's like, yeah. But
yes,
I love her so much,
Free
and I
spirits, yes.
appreciate so much that she was so she tried to be very distinctive from the other girls.
mm-hmm,
So
Uh-huh.
so
mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
that
definitely.
was my first guess. So I think it's the turn for Luquitas
It's the turn
to
for Luquitas.
introduce
I just
us.
want to make
Yeah.
a small break because I need to go grab something that I was missing. Give me a
Okay, go,
second.
go, go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Mao, do you like my pink light?
Yeah, I was watching like it's a light or is the walls. I love it
It's
so
the light.
much. I love it
Yes.
because it's so Barbie. And we
It's so
are
Barbie. I'm very
about to
Barbie
see
this week.
Barbie.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Ready? Okay, good.
Perfect.
So
We are back.
we're back. Yes. Okay, so it's now Lucas' turn for the next
All
artist.
yeah. Look, it just it's
Yes.
your turn.
Well, I was thinking to talk about this girl for the last, but no, I will talk now because she's my favorite underrated singer, and I know that you guys love her too. I know that each of us could talk about this girl because we like so much Michaela. So she's the next. Actually, I am kind of obsessed with Michaela. I can even explain why I love this girl so much, but I do. And she is one of those cases that started to sing very young, like she started to sing at age 3 on church, gospel and Christian music. And in 1995 happened in Oklahoma, her local city, a bomb attack. That was very famous moment in U.S. history, and Michaela sang in the memorial for this how's the word, tragedy.
Yeah,
Let's say
for the
this.
tragedy.
Yeah,
Yes.
for
Mhm.
the tragedy. And she recorded a song to help raising money for the families. That is the song here that I have, Not Too Far From Here. This is a single that she released like in the local city only. I don't know how I have this, but I do.
I was going
And
to ask you that, but I'm not gonna ask.
yes, there's 20 tracks here because there's a lot of tracks that she's talking parts of the Bible and saying good messages for people. Also, not only the song, and she's also talking about her album, This Little Light, that came after this when she was so young, like very young, 1996, I believe this was released, and both singles and albums were to raise money from this cause. And when she sang in the memorial, the Good Morning America saw her. The local news appears on Good Morning America. They call Michaela to sing at the show, and she started to sing in a lot of places like a prodigy kid, like Charlotte Church did back then. So she sang in Texas Rangers games, and she even sang to the president back then. So she was like this special kid. So it was very easy to gain the attention of managers, and her first manager was Barbara Cameron, which is the mother from Candace Cameron from the Full House TV show. So
Oh.
she was more focused on the actress part for Michaela. And she was part of a child TV show back then that was about a dog or something.
Wishbone.
Wishbone, yes.
I
She
love
entered
that
the
show.
Really? That's awesome. She was part of the second season and a movie. That in this movie she sang two songs from this album that I just showed. Um, she was a regular on the show, and then she signed with a manager for music. This manager was Marty Renderman. She was the responsible for Leon Ryan's career, so it was very nice for Michaela to have someone who was supporting a young girl career because Leon Ryan started very young too. And actually, this girl Marty wrote this a book here called "Singing Your Way to Stardom," where she gave tips to kids who wants to sing, but she also made a whole chapter saying everything that she did with Michaela from day one until she signed it, until she dropped it. There's everything here, and there's a chapter for Leon Rhymes too. So there's photos, and
I love you,
Brooke White.
Lucas.
You love Brooke White, right, Marielle?
Brooke White, yes. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
This woman worked with Brooke, so there's a chapter for Brooke too. Here's
Oh.
Michaela singing in one of those games.
I love you,
So
Lucas. You have everything.
yes, I do. I'm crazy about Michaela.
Yeah.
Here's Michaela singing, signing the contract that happened in 2000. She signed it to release her first official album, and they started to look for those labels with a demo album. Marielle will laugh because she said that I have everything, and I do have this too. That is Dreams. And this was her demo. She worked with Rob Schrock in this album, and she got the deal to record her debut album in 2000 with the Island Records. So Michaela was in the middle of this fever of teen pop, but she was like other cases that we mentioned here before, very fan of R&B and hip hop music. So the label was always trying to make like this girl is a pop girl, and in the interviews she will be like, "No, I like hip hop, I like R&B, and if I have to be a pop singer, I want to be like Celine Dion, who actually sings, not like those girls." But the label wasn't thinking about this. So the first single, "So in Love with You," that is this one, was released in 2000. We all love this. It's very bubblegum, but you kind of can feel something from hip hop roots
I
here,
have
right?
to say, yeah, I have to say that it's a pop song, but R&B vibes.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
totally.
she was only 13 and singing about being in love with two different
With
guys.
two guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
The music video is very teenager, like party, and she like pretending that she's not seeing the other boyfriend. She can be caught in this in the middle of the triangle that she was part. So I really love this. And the album was released in 2001. So to promote this album called Michaela, is this one.
Yeah, I love
Yes.
it.
Our versions is
Yeah.
different because this is Brazilian, Marielle is the US version,
Ah,
and this is
okay,
Rob.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the American. Yes.
Yes.
I
The cover
love it. I
here was a
love it.
little different.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love it.
It's
and
American version and I bought it in the UK. Crazy.
Crazy. Yes, yes.
yes, so she promoted this like being the opening act for Britney Spears in the Oops I Did It Again tour. She sang in a few TV shows, and but it wasn't enough. And they made like this crazy promotion with this single. Like in some supermarkets, you could buy empty cases for your CDs, and back then they put Michaela single inside those empty cases, so they could count this as a sell for Michaela to gain numbers on the charts.
Oh.
So because of that, she was kind of good. She was number 25 on the Billboard 100. Because the song was also being played on the radio too, and the music video on MTV. But for the record label, it wasn't enough because they put a lot of money in Michaela. She recorded a few songs in Sweden, and they were expecting more. And when this album was released, didn't enter on the Billboard charts album, only in the top hit seekers album that is one chart for artists that weren't in the official chart yet. Like you'll never be part of this, so you are in this chart. So she was number 20 on this. So the sales wasn't good at all. She released a Spanish version, Este Amor de Dos,
Hey.
which is very cool too. There's the single here, and there's like a rumor online on Wikipedia that she released a full Spanish album after the debut album, but this is fake. I never saw this. I never heard
No.
any of this. I think it's a totally lie. And they
She
try.
has, sorry, Lukita, she has Mexican or Latin ancestry, right?
Yes,
Mexican.
Mexican. Yes,
Mexican? Okay.
yes. And they released a second single, It's All Up to You, which is a song very beautiful that I really like it. But in this the same moment, she was dropped from the label. So we don't have a music video for that or any promotion. And it was very bad for Michaela because she has some high expectations and she gave up of everything in this very moment. So she never released any music, she never tried to act anymore, and she just gave up. And it's such a shame because it's so hard to talk with Michaela. We all know like she's very like living a simple life. She don't want to know apparently she don't want to know anything about the fans or the music or this time in her life. But we do love this era. We do love Michaela's songs, and even with one official album, she's still in our playlists right now. So Michaela, we love you. You are part of this pop community.
Yes.
Yes.
Totally. Definitely. No, and I
I
think
have
that I'm sorry, Mo.
No, sorry, buddy. I have to say that I find this very sad when artists hate that era of their lives, because for us like fans, we this was very important for us, like the releasing of the album, the songs. It was part of our childhood, it was part of our teenage years. So I find some, I don't know, I don't want to say disrespectful for us, but it's like I can understand this because it was part of their lives. Maybe for them it was like frustrating, or maybe they were struggling with a lot of things with because of the music industry, and I understand that. But at the same time, it's like okay, you did it, and it was important for some people, for the fans, and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just live with it, and it's okay. Be peace with that.
Maybe it's a healing process. Maybe she can turn around this sometime. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, sometimes people do change. Like we mentioned with Mandy Moore, that she changed her mind about
Yes.
her debut albums. Uh, um, Michaela, somehow I've been trying to reach her because people has been asking me to interview her on my channel, and I'm like, I would love to, but she's not answering me. So I've been sending her emails and stuff, and she follows me on Instagram.
Yes.
So
Funny.
I'm still hoping that one day she could talk to us. It would be great to have her here on our
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah.
And she could tell us more about this era in her and this time in her life, because she's definitely one of the best underrated singers out there. She deserves much more because this album has a lot to offer. I mean, from beginning to
Yeah.
end, the album is perfect, perfect. So, she gave us a huge pop gem, and we would love to let her know that. So,
Yes.
if she ever watches this,
It's
Totally.
exactly like this. I just want to have the chance to say to her that her music matters.
yes, let's hope that one day we get to talk to her. But thank you,
Yes.
Michaela, for giving us a great album.
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Michaela. Yeah, yeah.
Now it's Marielle.
I love this one because she's one of my favorite singers out there. I will talk about Cherie, French-born singer known as nowadays as Cindy Almouzni. She has a very confusing last name, so if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, sorry. She began singing in she's from Marseille in France, so she was always singing in there, but she was discovered by this talent chaser, I don't know how you call it, and she was asked to sing some songs and as demos, and she was later signed, as you mentioned, Mao, in Lava Records. So
It's a division of Atlantic.
just the division of Atlantic, and she recorded a song called "I'm Ready." Yay! I have here the single. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
you have the single. I
Yes,
think Sherry is for you, like Michaela is for Lucas.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Awesome.
I'm
Yes.
seeing right now.
Yes, so she released this song called "I'm Ready," which made it to the Billboard Hot 100 at number 99. So she barely made it. But at number 1 on the US Hot Dance Club Songs chart. So that's great. And this song was featured on Lindsay Lohan's movie Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. It was the opening
Yes.
theme for the movie. So she gained some recognition because of that movie, because it was popular. And the song was really catchy. It was like so fun and stuff. Like having fun. I want to go out. I want to explore the world and I'm ready. I'm ready for love. I'm ready for whatever it's coming. So I love the message in I'm Ready. And later a remix album came out for the I'm Ready mixes. So I also have it. Like Lucas, don't ask me how I
Yeah.
got this.
Things that happens for collectors, yes.
For fans.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm a huge fan of Cherie. And then her debut album and self-titled album Cherie came out in 2004. It is 2004, right? Yes, 2004. She's not in the 2001 wave. She came a little later. But and she worked with great producers, including Cara Dioguardi, who co-wrote some of the songs for this album, Natasha Bedingfield, who co-wrote the song Betcha Never, which was she's the first one that actually sung Betcha Never, because it was later covered by Tara Young and Jennifer Rush, so everybody was singing the song, but Cherie was the first one. So
Yeah.
she worked with very known producers, but unfortunately sales, like we always talking here, sales weren't as big as everyone was expecting. So she got dropped from her record label, and she was giving us a gem, guys, because this album is a gem. It's definitely a gem. Is Cherie's voice is so powerful. She's like a Celine Dion. So
Yeah,
she had
totally.
everything to become the next Celine, and unfortunately, people slept on Cherie.
Totally.
She did promote a second song called "Older Than My Years," which happens to be one of my favorite songs out there, and which I relate a lot to because in 2006, when I was 17, I was dating a much older guy, and so I used to play that song a lot because I felt connected with with the meaning of that song. And
Yes.
nowadays it really takes me back to that time in my life when I was a teenager and experiencing my first love. No, so
Yeah. And as a
Very
uh,
song,
special.
it was a smart choice for second single because I feel that this song is so mature for radio. It wasn't a good choice, in my opinion.
it wasn't a good choice as a single, but the song is beautiful. I
Yes.
mean, I think I would have chosen a song called "I Believe in You" or another one called "Fool," which she also sang. She was the opening act for Clay Aiken, and Clay Aiken used to invite her as when he was singing to sing "Fool" because Clay loved
Oh.
that song and he wanted to perform with Sherry. There's a couple of videos out there of them performing "Fool." So I think this album had a lot of potential, but like we mentioned, there was always competition, and she wasn't that kind of girl that was showing off. Like she wasn't showing her breasts or moving in a sexy way. She was sweet, and in 2004 there was a time when the singers were starting to be more
Open.
sassy, more
Yeah.
open. Yes, like, Britney was releasing the Toxic single, and that was the kind of competition she was having. I mean, with singers that were more sexual, if we can call it like that, and Cherie was more like innocent and more like the bubble gum, and I think that's
Actually,
why people slept with her.
actually, I see her more like a Celine Dion, more like this kind of singer, like with a huge voice.
Yes, she
Yes.
she definitely has a great voice, but I think that wasn't what people was only looking for back in the day,
Yeah.
Yeah,
not just the voice.
what a
And then
shame.
she later changed her name from Cherie to she used her original name, uh, Cindy Almosny, and she performed at the she was competing with Scooch
Eurovision?
for
No.
being the UK entry to the Eurovision, but she lost to Scooch. She recorded some songs, and now she works as just Cindy Alma, and
Okay.
she has worked with this DJ. I'm sorry,
Hello,
Paul
DJ?
Van Dyke. Paul Van
Paul
Dyke.
Van
Oh, yes.
Yes, and she has sung some songs with him and some singles that she has taken out, not a full album, but her song "Cry" or something. "Cry" was part of the Honey soundtrack, not Honey with Jessica Alba. Honey, the Honey 3, I think it was Honey the third.
There's a lot
And
of
so
honeys.
she
Yeah.
there's a lot of honeys. I only love Jessica Alba's
Honey.
movie, but there's I think that she was part of the third movie of Honey. So she has released some songs, but not a full length album, unfortunately. And now, like I told you, she works under the name of Cindy Alma. You can check her out on Instagram. I have also invited her to be part of Mariel Talks Pop, but she hasn't answered me. So let's hope she does one day because I would love to also let her know how much I love
Yes, totally.
Yes.
this woman. So yes. Now, so this is all about Cherie. Moving on to Mao, who do you have next?
Okay, we are talking about great voices. Michaela, Sherry, and now I have uh, Ashley Ballard. I only have the page. You have the CD, Maria. Yes, Ashley Ballard. I love this woman. I knew about this. You have it, guys.
It's the
I
single.
know. Yeah, it's the single. Yeah, I knew about this girl because of Mariel. Thank you, Mariel, because when Mariel suggested me the music from 2001, she was one of the one that's of the ones that Mariel suggests me. She started with Atlantic Records. In the same case of Willa 4, she was part of the Pokemon soundtrack with the song "It Was You." And
Mm.
she started recording her album with Atlantic Records. She released Hottie, that was 25 in the Billboard Hot 100. That is a great position in the Billboard Hot
Yes,
100, actually.
it's this one.
And
Yes.
yeah, that is Hottie. Thank you, my friend. And then she was working on this album, but I don't know what happened. I don't know. I didn't find so much information about what happened with the album getting in the booth because it never was releasing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was never
Mm-hmm.
released. I don't know what happened with the album because she was working with great producers like Dark Child and this kind of producers, and at, at the moment of releasing of the album, it was never released. So it's a shame. Then I don't know, you guys, if you know what happened with this album.
I just know it got shelved. Don't
Yeah.
know
Okay.
why.
Yes.
There's an
Yes. Yes.
interview with Ashley with a guy called Josh that he makes a similar work that we do.
That Mariel's
Actually,
look. Yeah.
he's not doing anymore, but he had the chance to talk with her. And I remember she talked about this, but I don't remember the reason why. I just remember she saying that she wasn't like so serious about the schedules and everything that she had to do because she was like 15 or very young, so she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't kind of understanding the big chance she had, so maybe
Okay.
this
Okay.
was one
Okay.
of the reasons.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lucky. Yes, it's a shame because she has a great voice. I think when I don't know what you guys think, but when I listen to this album, it's like NSYNC for me, like a girl doing some NSYNC stuff. It's very NSYNC. The samples, the music, the melodies is are very NSYNC for me. So I love this album so much, and it's great that it's available in in the digital platforms because it was
Yes.
never released. It's great to have it in the platforms. So then she has another records like another kind of music very different from the pop albums that pop for the
Yes.
pop songs that she did in the past. I'm not a huge fan of the work that she did after this, but I have to say it was very. I don't know how to describe it, but this work that she's done lately, it's very experimental. I think I don't know how to call it, but very
Yes.
different.
Yes, it's different from what we know from getting the booth. She
Yeah,
released two
yeah, very
Yes.
EPs,
different.
Epic Love, and I don't remember the other
Yes.
one. But her music is more like how you call it? Yeah, it is experimental, but it's more like
Yeah,
Yeah.
folky,
experimental,
or
I
mixed
folky,
have
with
the
yes.
some.
exactly word for what it was. Unfortunately, cheap, because I feel like she
Yes.
wanted to make some Lady Gaga vibes on some tracks. If you
Yes.
watch the music videos that she did, like very in her home, I don't know, like someone
Mm-hmm.
helped her to make the videos. You can feel that in her mind she wanted to bring some inner Lady Gaga, but without the
Mm-hmm.
budget. So
I know.
it's very
Yes,
sad
yes.
because we know that she's good,
It's very
but
sad.
I'm not
Yes, it's a
super
shame.
into that music. Yes.
I
No.
watch other performances by her, and she was very in the R&B kind of a stuff. And I perceive this album is not an R&B album, of course, but have some R&B. For example, she has a collaboration with Plush, that is an R&B group.
Yes.
So yeah, and actually she has another collaboration with Plus One, the CCM boy band.
What band?
So
Yes.
it's great, it's great, and yes, this is my example of the underrated princess.
Yes.
Now is the turn for Luquillas.
Yes.
Yes,
I just
thank you,
wanna
Mal.
say that I really wanted to watch some performance of Ashley back then. I don't know if it's because I'm in Brazil, but there's nothing on YouTube available. And
Nope.
I know that she performed in a festival called Teen Sensation back then, and it was on TV in 2001, and she performed Holly. And I want to
Oh,
find uh, the link for you guys remember the real player back then? Like it
Yes.
was a player against Windows Media Player. I found a
yeah.
link that you could watch online, but unfortunately, it's not working
It's
anymore,
not
of course.
working anymore, of course. Yeah.
But I wish we could watch this. I'm very curious about that. But moving on, I decided to bring for this Pop Princess Words, not Pop Princess Girl, because my expertise, my universe is the pop rock universe here in this video cast. So I decided to bring Megan McCauley uh, to this podcast. Maybe you guys don't know much about this girl or don't know anything at all, so it would be my pleasure to introduce you uh,
Please do.
to, to her because I really like her. Like the other girls, she started very young. Like she lived in Ohio, and I was reading about her, and I just realized she kind of have our age. Marielle is 34, right?
Yes.
She's 34, so everything that she lived
Okay.
in music, she had exactly the same age that Marielle and closer to us. So it's crazy to think about this. And she released two independent albums in 1997, 1998 at the age like 8 and 9, and was country music, very different than what she did. And when she became like a teenager, she started to go to the pop rock scene and write her own music. She had like a difficult background with parents. Like I believe she had like a bad situation with her father. So she was kind of rebel, like the rock chick herself. In 2004, she signed it with Winding Up Records. That was the same label of Evanescence and other bands like Creed and 12 Stones, that is a Christian band that Mal maybe knows. Uh, she was part of this label, and she was the only girl with Emily in this label, and they had like this contract with soundtracks of superhero movies. Like they released Bring Me to Life um, by Evanescence, like a soundtrack for a movie like Daredevil, I believe. And so they used the same formula for Megan McCauley, and they released "Die for You" as her first single. It was a single for the Fantastic Four movie. Um it wasn't good on the charts or anything, but she makes some noise in this rock scene. And the plan was to release her first album in 2005. It was supposed to call Baba Ba Black Sheep, like she's the black sheep in her family.
Oh.
And she wrote it most of the songs. I love those songs. Are very. She was kind of similar to Avril Lavigne, but she was more deep. You know, the lyrics were more strong. Like there was a song
Mm.
called "I Will Pay You to Shoot Him," uh, that is about her father. So very strong, very dark.
Whoa.
Very
Yes,
dark.
very dark. But the album was canceled, and there's a lot of stories behind this. There's a lot of people that says that Emily wasn't happy at all to share her uh, label with this girl because back then Emily was the only girl, and then this girl war gained attention in the record label. They wanted
Emily?
to Emily from
Emily
Evanescence.
from
Yes,
Evanescence? Oh, okay, okay.
yes. They wanted to Megan to be on the song "Broken" by a rock band called Cedar, that you guys may know it because they released it with Emily. Emily was the girlfriend of the vocalist, and she was like, "No, I'm going to sing this." So
Okay.
the thing started to be like difficult because Evanescence was like the number one band on the label. So Emily was demanding things, and they didn't want to lose Evanescence. So maybe they say, "Okay, let's do this." Actually, in the album that wasn't released, there's a song called "Hey Emmy" that people said that Megan wrote for Emily. So if you guys want, you can check on YouTube because
Oh
the whole
wow.
Oh,
album leaked. Yes, but they didn't give up on Megan. They decided to work with Max Martin and Dr. Luke to help her to launch the career. Max Martin, Dr. Luke uh, were like very famous for the pop music, and back then they were doing music with Kelly Clarkson, Pink, and a lot of singers. So in the pop rock scene, and they released her first official single that was "Tap That." And this song is very similar to "You in Your Hand" by Pink, and also very similar to "Forever" by the Veronicas. Uh, and
okay.
she wasn't aware that Max Martin was giving to her like a copy song. So she recorded,
Okay.
and when the song was released on the radio, she told that she was expecting to listen to the song on the radio, and they were playing "You in Your Hand" by Pink, and she was like, "Ah, my song is on the radio," and then Pink started to sing, and she was like, "This is exactly like my
Oh my
song."
God.
So she was
No.
very
What?
mad. Yes. And
Of
she
course.
recognized her own song when she listened to Veronica's Forever. And she was very mad. She didn't want to work with Max Martin anymore. Uh, so they released this album, uh, Better Than Blood, as her debut
Mhm.
and only album. So there's the song with Max Martin production on this Step That, but they were planning more songs. Like on YouTube, there's a song called Snake, which is my favorite by her, and it's very low quality, and it is not on the album because she didn't want to work with Max Martin. And she also recorded Break You. That is the same song that Mario Raven
Mm,
recorded and released it as the first song, first single in the
mm-hmm.
solo career. Mario Raven from M2M. And Megan didn't know that it was previously recorded by Mario Raven, and she discovered it too, and she was very mad. And so the song is not on this record. She only released a second single called Porcelain Doll. That is a very sad song. The promotion was kind of curious because I don't know if you guys know the song that show Dr. Phil in the US. That he's
Mm,
helping families through different stuff. And she went to this show with her mother. They were kind of fighting in the show, and at the end,
Okay.
she performed the song to promote. So it's a different type of promotion, and
mm,
she released a music video, and then she gave up uh, to be Megan McCauley. She changed her name to Muggsy, and she started to post random YouTube covers. Back then, I know that she tried the X Factor US, uh, but she wasn't even on air. Like if you watch, you can see her like there with the crowd, but she wasn't on air. And there was a time that she, like the other girls, you couldn't even mention her career. Like that happened to me. I mentioned her in a forum once, and someone asked me to erase the post because she
Oh,
wasn't happy
really?
about that. Yes.
Someone
Um,
is who you can say? You can say it?
uh,
Look at this.
she was part of a band called Beat the System for a
Okay.
while,
okay.
and in this band she was using a different name. So I think it was a guy from this band that sent
Oh,
me a
Okay.
message, like saying
okay.
she's in this band now, a different name. And the post that I did was like, Megan McCauley is now on Beats the System band. So she didn't want to be recognized. But that is a past. So that's why I have faith in Michaela because now she's back with the name Megan McCauley. She's
Okay.
actually very friendly. I had the chance to talk with her on Instagram. She follows me.
Oh,
She
okay.
knows that I
Happy
love her
ending.
music, and she changed her bio to like, I made a song for that movie. Like she's proud now of who she
Okay.
was. She's planning to release more songs under her official name, Megan McCauley. So I hope it happens. So if you guys love Michelle Branch, um, Avril Lavigne, Evanescence, and bands like this, you may like Megan McCauley.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Lucas.
you,
It was
Lucky. Yes, yes.
interesting.
I know the song Snake because of Lucas, because
Yes.
yeah,
It's a very
Hmm.
intriguing lyric
yeah,
because
very intriguing.
she says that the guy do not like her because she's like rock and has a snake. But as a gay boy, you can also interpret it in a different way,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's very clever song, but for
it's a very
Max
clever
Martin,
song. Yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah.
never released yet.
Okay. Well, I will give it a try because I don't know that song, but I will definitely listen to it.
Yes,
Yes,
I believe
yes.
you may like Tap That. That is the single produced by Max
Tap that.
Martin. Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, before I move on to the next one, I just want to say I got confused with Cherie's working. She didn't work with Paul Van Dyke. She worked with Armin van Buuren. I was
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay,
I
okay, okay.
I was
Almost.
incorrect with that. So but it's
Okay,
a
okay.
DJ. So I'm sorry for the confusion,
Yeah.
guys. I just checked my
Oh, don't worry.
notes quickly and I was like, oh my god, I got confused. But just making clear, she worked with Armin van Buuren.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's move on. The next one happens to sing my favorite song in the whole wide world, you guys. And I bet you know that. I'm talking about Miss Joy
Yay!
Enriquez.
Enriquez,
Yes,
yes.
Joy Enriquez,
Yes.
guys. Yes, she's, well, one of my saviors out there. Uh, Joy was born in LA, but she's Puerto Rican. So, she auditioned at Star Search back in the 90s, and her mother started sending, her tapes to different record labels. So she later got signed to LaFace Records, which was, and Arista Records, which was owned by Rodney Jerkins, LaFace Records. And he helped her produce her first debut album, Joy Enriquez. That's the title. And this album didn't make it into the top, into the Billboard 200, but did peak at number 31 in New Zealand and number 79 in Australia. And that's where she got like most of her fame in down under, or now in Australia and New Zealand. And her music was also popular in the Philippines, Japan, and Thailand. So more like that Asian part, and Australia. Her debut single, Tell Me How You Feel, which happens to be my favorite song in the world, uh, didn't enter the Hot 100, did enter at number 31 on the US rhythmic charts, and at number 14 in New Zealand, and number 24 in Australia.
Oh.
This song was also featured on the Seventh Heaven show, which also is one of my favorite shows out there. She was also playing a
Playing, yeah.
character called Joy, who was a singer, not Joy Enriquez, but she was named Joy. She was dating one of the boys, and she sings "Tell Me How You Feel" on the show. And all of a sudden, she just disappears because she signs a contract with a record label, and her character just disappears. But I loved seeing her in
That
this
show.
show, and she also had a small part on Chasing Papi with it's Sofia Vergara, right? Matt?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's Sofia Vergara.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Jackie Velasquez.
And Jackie
Jackie
Velasquez.
Velasquez. Yes, she sings a couple of songs for that soundtrack, and The Lady and the Tramp too, and for Anna and the King. So she
For Anna
collaborated for different movies. Her second single from this album is Shake Up the Party, which entered at number 23 on the US dance charts, and number 45 in New Zealand, number 57 in Australia. That would be the last song of hers to enter any charts. Because she later released a song called What Do You Want, which is the opening track from this album, a song that was written by Beyonce.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but that song failed to chart. And then she was more interested in to joining the CCM world, and she got married to Rodney Jerkins. I'm sorry, and they both uh, produced her second album, Atmosphere of Heaven, in 2006 under their own record label called Joyful Child. So this album didn't enter any charts, and but she did it because she's a very good Christian. And so she
Spiritual
wanted
person. Yeah.
and very spiritual and wanted to sing for the Lord and stuff like that. And she later got pregnant like 1,000 times, and it
It's
wasn't on.
sorry, sorry, Mariel. It's very sad because she was not very popular even in the CCM. Like I don't know
No,
what happened because she got all the potential to become like an Jackie
yes,
Velasquez
because she
or
has a
a
great
Crystal Lewis because she
she
got a
has a
great
great voice.
voice. And
Yes,
she's married with their child that is a huge producer, so I don't know what happened.
yes. I don't know either. But she later got a reality TV show with her husband and her thousands of kids. She has like 5 children. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Uh, it doesn't say here, but she has like 5 kids, and so they had this reality show called The House of Joy,
The House of
and
Joy. Yeah.
for every episode, a song was leaked every day, every week. So, and they released this EP called House of Joy, songs from these TV show. And in 2016, she released her third and final album, which is also Christian, called The Call. This album didn't enter any charts and was also produced by her husband, but had like moderate success in the Christian world, and it had a couple of songs, which was Shine, that features her song Heavenly Joy, her daughter Heavenly Joy, and Hallelujah, which features Lindsey Sterling. But none of these songs entered the charts. Her daughter Heavenly Joy auditioned for America's Got Talent like years ago,
Oh,
and she sung a song from Frozen, a movie that all girls love, including my child, called In Summer. And she did well, but she was like 5 when she auditioned. You should check it out because she was really funny. She's out there, and both Joy and Rodney Jerkins
our
are
child.
there watching her like performing. So it was really fun seeing her, and I'm like, oh my god, there's Joy Enriquez, because I didn't know who she was,
Of
and
course.
it was really fun. And well, unfortunately, well, her music career hasn't, like exploded more because
Yeah.
like I always mentioned, there was a huge wave of singers back in the day, and even though she made it in Australia, Japan, or New Zealand, I think that wasn't enough for her to
Yes.
be so popular. But she
Yes.
had a lot to offer. She
I
was
always thought
also
that she were bigger on the US. I always
no,
thought that she were like better than the other girls, but it was not.
sadly no. And even though she was also a background singer to this Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey's "When You Believe,"
Yeah. When you believe.
so she had this
She
very
had
good voice.
everything. I don't know what happened.
Yes,
She had everything to be successful.
but I think sometimes, and I don't want to be like racist, because that is what happens. It's gonna sound racist because of their Latino background. They're like, oh, they're Latino. I don't want them.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
probably that happens actually.
yes.
Yeah,
So
or sometimes it's because they don't know how to showcase this kind of artists. For example, well, if you're Latino, you have to do like J-Lo or something like that. But if you are not like J-Lo, so you are not what we are looking for. So
yes, which is a shame because we know Joy
yeah,
is very talented, and she hasn't stated something about new music or anything. I have tried to contact her, but since she has like a bunch of kids, I bet she's really busy.
she's
Yeah.
But
she's
anyway, I
busy all
hope
the time. Yeah,
it's a great album, and it's
Yeah.
also
I
available
think
on
it's super
digital
available.
funny
platforms.
that she has the same last name of Michaela. Michaela is also
Yes,
Enrique.
yes,
Enriquez.
yes.
Yes, it's a very popular last name in
Oh
the
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
at
think
least here in
I
Mexico
think
it is.
she's Boricua, but at the same time she's Mexican. I don't know. I'm wrong.
I'm not
So
really
her
sure. It
father,
does.
I think her father is from Mexico and her mother is from Puerto Rico. I think I'm not sure, but
Probably. I'm not really
yeah.
so familiar with that, but
Okay.
well, she definitely has Latino roots. So
Of course. Yeah. She's Latina. Yeah.
yes, she's Latina. We love
Totally.
Latinos. So shout out to
Yeah.
Miss Joy Enriquez. And
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
Mao, is your turn. Mao, who do you have?
Okay. Now from the Latina girl to a Swedish girl. I'm going to talk about Amanda. Amanda, I don't know if I pronounce her last name well. Lemech,
Lamesh.
Lamesh. Thank you, Mariel. So yes, her stage name was Amanda. She was the first pop act to sign with Maverick Records. That was the Madonna was the owner of this label. You Don't Stand the Chance was a part of the Rugrats in Paris movie. Her first single was Everybody Doesn't. That for years and years, this video was like lost in the internet, was not appearing. And when I discovered this girl, thanks to Mariel again, I discovered this video and I love it so much. It's very
Which the video was uploaded by Lucas. So if you don't know that,
what? Oh, really?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Ah, I don't know. I didn't know that.
Yes, I really
How-
wanted to,
Yes.
to see the video, and one day I thought I should ask her. So I found her on Facebook, and I asked her like, "Do you have your own video?" And she said, "Oh, some tape VHS maybe I would try to find." But I never thought that she would really do that. And like a few weeks later, she sent me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I have to upload this." So that channel that is Poppy Rare Music is mine actually, and the video is there. And there's a live performance that someone sent me after this.
I can't believe this.
Yes, our words are always
This
colliding. Yes.
this channel is yours, my friend. How
Yes.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know, and everybody is giving you thank you so much because
Yes.
you uploaded the video. I didn't know that. This channel is called Pop Rarities or something like that,
Yes, exactly.
and it's yours.
It's mine.
Okay. This is not
It's-
acting for the audience. We are not
No.
acting. I
and it's
didn't know.
actually interesting because both Lucas and I have shared videos that everybody has been requesting, and Lucas shared
Totally.
Amanda's, and I shared Michaela's "So in Love
Yeah.
with You" and Innocence "Say No More." So yes, and everybody's like, "Thank you for this," and so
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. You are doing a great job for pop lovers. So thank you. I didn't know about that. It's really funny. So yeah, Everybody Doesn't was number. It was not good in the charts actually. It was 81 in the Billboard Hot 100, but at least she was part of the Billboard Hot 100 because it's not something easy to do. So I think for Amanda, Mariel had the opportunity to interview her, and she was very nice. I think she's in peace with everything she done in the past, because when she had the opportunity to talk to Mariel, she was very calm. Like, oh my God, it was great, it was fun. I was having so much fun. It was so great to do an album. I was so excited when I met Madonna. I think she's now a woman that know that was part of that this time in the past was part of her life. It was good, it was great, it was fun, but that's all. I think that, and now you share Luquitas that she send you the video. I think she doesn't have a problem at all with that.
Yes.
Like,
It's
okay, it
very
was part of
sweet,
my
yes.
past. Yeah, she's like, and it's funny because when Mariel asked her some questions about the career, she was like remembering, like, oh yeah, she was
Yeah.
great. Oh yeah, it was
she
great.
didn't
oh yeah,
remember.
Yeah. Yeah, she
She
didn't
was like
remember,
shocked,
but
like Marielle knows those
yeah,
things and knows those
yeah,
songs. She was like, "Oh, you
yeah.
remember that?"
You
Yes.
remember
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing because she's beautiful. She's
She's an
Yes.
hot.
amazing person.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah. I want to ask you guys. I don't know if this song you don't stand a chance was supposed to be the second single or was the first for it because I know it's part of Everybody Doesn't the album.
I don't know,
Uh,
but it's my favorite for the album is the song, but I don't know.
really? Oh.
Yes.
No, I think it was only used for the Rugrats,
Yeah.
the movie, as the part of the soundtrack. But for what I remember, and I think she told me that in a message, that the second intended single was not the one for me.
Oh,
So
okay. Thank you, Maria. Because
I think it was
I wasn't sure about it. Yeah,
yes.
priceless information because it's not on the website. So yes, and I think Madonna wanted to have her own Britney with Amanda. And for Amanda was like, okay, I'm doing this. It's cool. It's amazing. But okay, I want to go to my country again, and I don't want to make more music. It was like that. Because
Yes.
they were planning to make a second album or something like that, but she was like, "Okay, I don't want to do it." I think she was very young, and I think for these underrated girls that we are talking about today, like Lindsay Pagano, for example, they were very young because we are talking about Britney and Christina in that time were like 21, 20, 19, but these girls were like 15, very young. So for example, in the case of Ashley Ballard too. So I think they were not aware of the massive things that were happening with their lives at that time as pop
Yes.
stars.
And they wanted to live
So
as well, have friends, and do things
yeah,
that
yeah,
everyone does.
and enjoy this adolescence. So I think it was the reason for her to not
De-
release
Definitely. And
another
I mean,
album.
Amanda was so far away from her home. She wasn't
Yes.
American, so her family
Yeah,
wasn't in America. She had to move to Sweden. So,
to Sweden. Yes.
being
Yes.
15, 16, you don't even know where you are. So, what do you want to do with your life? So, I guess she enjoyed that part of being a pop star and singing with O Town and other singers out there. But she at the same time thought that I need my family, and
Yes.
well, that's what happened.
Yes. Yes. Anais Lemesh is part of Play.
Play,
Yes.
yes, it's her sister.
Yes,
Yeah.
is her sister. Yes, and that's all, guys. I wanted to mention another thing about Amanda. No, okay, yes, I remember. It was planned to release a song featuring Samantha Mumba and Amanda in that moment. She mentioned that in the interview with Mariel. So, but it was, I think she mentioned that the song was not released, was recorded at the time. Maybe she has it.
Oh, I would
So
love
it
that.
would be,
I would
yeah.
love that. Yeah, I know she was
I understood that when she mentioned like, okay, the song exists, but it was recorded at that time, but it was never released.
yes, I think that's what she said back in the day. I don't really recall everything she
Yeah.
told me, but
She said that she
if we
had a
check the
lot
interview,
of boxes with tapes and things that she never looked at.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So
Well,
Amanda, if you are watching this, please share of all this because as
we would
fans,
love that.
it's like gold for us. So
Yes.
yes. So
This
well,
episode
anyway,
would be a good one for us to make cuts
yeah.
and post on social media and tag them because we
And
are
tag
talking
them.
about a
An
lot of girls. Yes.
invitation, yeah, an invitation for these ladies. Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on. Luquitas, who
Who is your
is your
last?
next one?
Okay, I'll try to be fast on this one. I wanted to bring underrated Brazilian pop singer. So it's Karim, her name. She started in the 90s, in a moment that Sandy was like the biggest pop star here, so that romantic pop music. And she released her first album. She was 13 years old, so it was like a small label, like independent independent album that I gotta say it's very bad and has a very bad cover. Like this is not beautiful at
Oh.
all.
No.
She looks like Shakira in her early
Yes,
years.
exactly. The album is called Brilho e Energia, but there's no shine or energy at all on this album. Sorry, but it's not good. And she released it after this, Nas Ondas da Paixão, her second album, very independent too, that I thought that I had, but I couldn't find, so maybe I don't. So I cannot show you guys. But she started to grow, and she released this album in 2001. Let me check, 2001. It's called Only Karim, so you guys can perceive here more pop
Yes.
For
vibes in
yeah,
this. She's
Pink. Yes.
Yeah, she was a teenager. She was like kind of Sandy too, but this time I think she had more budget for promotion, so she had a song on the radio, but only in São Paulo. The song was on the radio, and it was a version of Westlife's "If I Let You Go" in
Oh.
Portuguese. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
Oh,
called
Okay.
is that possible in Brazil, my friend? Like a song only playing in
yes.
just one city? Oh, really?
Yes, because radio was and still is based on money, so you can pay for the radio to play your songs. So it's
Okay.
more expensive to play in the whole country, I believe. So she focused on São Paulo at first. So the song was well played in São Paulo. She sang in like those radio concerts with a lot of artists uh, back then. And this time she gained the attention of one guy called Sacomano, which is a huge producer here in Brazil. But for me, he was like kind of dated to work with a teenager girl.
Mm.
So she released the first single for this upcoming album, Te Quero, Te Espero, this one. Uh, but something bigger happened, and a bigger label wanted her to record more real pop music, like the girls from US were doing. So
Mhm.
she gave up of the album. The album was never released, but she leaked the album a few years ago, and I downloaded everything because I knew that she would delete it, but it's just somewhere. And she came back. She came back real pop in 2003 with a single "Boyfriend," and that is this one. So this song "Boyfriend" is very pop and it's very cool, and there's a good music video. She had like a teen idol actor in the video back then, so it was on MTV, and the song on the radio, and there was different versions, so she could be played on the pop radios. So "Boyfriend" had a moderate success in radios in the English version, the dance version, and the Portuguese version too. It wasn't huge, but it was like a good moment for her. And for me,
Mhm.
as a fan, it was her biggest moment. She released a second single called "Bye Bye" that I really love. That is this one. It's my favorite
Mm.
by her, and it's very dancey, very pop. There's also an English version. Unfortunately, no music video. And she released a third single for this album too. Marielle can laugh, but I have here.
I won't laugh. I just love that you have all this stuff. I
Yes.
appreciate that you share with us your
Oh,
your
of course.
collection.
Eu Quero Ter Você is the third single. And this album is actually good. She made like real pop music and a little bit of R&B. Like there's this song called Não Te Amo Mais, like I Don't Love You Anymore. that is very similar to Nelly Dilemma. I sent to
Mm-hmm.
Mal the song once when we started to
Yes.
talk it. There's a rapper in the
In the
track.
song, yes.
Yes, and she looked very beautiful in this album. I love this.
Yes.
And after this, like she disappeared for a while. 2006, she come back with the single "Gosto de Ser Quem Eu Sou." That is, I like to be who I am. So she
Mm-hmm.
was mature and pop and kissing girls on their music video on the clubs
Okay.
and different. And back then, she had a song in a soap opera that is Brazilian but was on air in Portugal. So the song was part of the soundtrack only in Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
My Image in the Mirror is the name of the song. So we
She
were,
look, yes, she changed her name like because it's Karin
yes,
Garcia.
yes,
Okay.
yes. She changed it to Karin Garcia. She put her last name on this, but it's
Okay.
only the first change that she made because
Okay.
it would be a great moment. She released an album with the same name. There's an English version, but she was independent again, so it wasn't very successful. And the mess started, like we know that happens a lot. She changed it to Sertanejo, that is the
Mm-hmm.
kind of music that I mentioned before with Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
she make her greatest singles in Sertanejo version. Uh, it was not good, so she decided to go to gospel music, Christian music, under another name, Caroline. That is this EP
Okay.
here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, and after this, she came back to pop, and she came back to Sertanejo, and she came back to gospel, and she came back to pop, and she came back to certain. And I'm not kidding. Like this is
She's a
happening.
mess.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
it's still happening. And like she makes a new Instagram account and she deletes, and she makes a new one, and she's like this new version of herself, pop, and she deletes, and she came back as a Christian singer. It's a mess, and I stopped to follow. That's the truth because I can't. She
Okay.
released like a bunch of
A lot of
singles in the last
She's
personalities.
6 years,
she's
and
very unstable.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she deleted. Like I have a new song and it's on Spotify. Past 1 month, the song is not there anymore. It's a mess.
Crazy.
I think some of these artists from our countries goes in that direction sometimes, go in that direction sometimes. For example, in the case of Brazil, in Sertanejo music, in the case of Mexico, sometimes banda. I think, I don't know what you think, Mariel. And in the case of Colombia, on tropical music or this kind of move or this kind of genre in music. It's like something that is common. I don't know what you think, but pop artists doing this kind of stuff.
Well, well, yeah. I mean, it's very common to see artists
Yes,
doing this kind of
Yeah.
changes, but
But
pop
not like
not
artists
this.
so,
doing this for
but
our
not like
countries.
this. I mean,
No.
yes,
No,
she's
No,
like
no,
because
no, no,
she's
no.
unstable.
No,
yeah.
because no. It's just an example. Not in the case of Karim, because I
Yes.
think she's
She
like
she's independent, so she can choose what she's going to do
okay.
next.
Mm,
So the
yeah.
problem is what she wants. She doesn't
But I
know,
think
but
Oh,
the problem with her is she's losing fans all the time because you can be a fan of an artist,
yeah.
but
Because
if this artist
if you
doesn't have
don't
a
have a
personality, it's
certain
like
genre to follow,
yeah.
yeah,
For
yes. I mean,
example,
yes,
in
I'm
for
people's
out
like,
for
example,
sure. I
yeah.
cannot
yes.
support
For
anymore
example,
because
in the case
it's insane.
in the case of Vanessa that you mentioned, Luquitas, she, for example, she did it certain Asia and pop and a lot of genres in music, but always focusing in one and then in the other. Not like today I'm this kind of
Yes,
singer and tomorrow I'm the other and tomorrow I'm other singer. It's like
yes,
this movie that is called in Spanish Fragmentado. I don't know what is the name in English. It's like that, like a lot of personalities in one
yes,
person.
yes. Because it's not only the music. She changed everything: the Instagram account, the photos, uh,
It's funny.
and all those things. Anyway, Karim, if you ever see this, don't get me wrong. I
No, no,
just
no.
care because I used to love your music and I used to support you so much, and I wish you could make choices. I don't know, but so let's move on.
Yes.
More
Smart
stable choices.
choices.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so to me, to finish this part, I will talk about the princess that is to me one of the princesses of the very rare underground bubblegum, and she's the first I discovered from this 2001 era, and is someone that I'm really fond of, and this is Brooke Allison. Everyone,
Yes.
Okay.
Marielle,
yes,
before you continue, I gotta say one thing. I
yes,
gotta pee. I really gotta pee.
go,
So I'll be right
Okay.
back.
go. So, I'm gonna start with my Brooke Allison. She's, for me, one of the biggest underrated singers out there. So, I love Brooke, and she's a great example of what it is to fail on the charts, fail with your contract, and because people weren't supporting her, which is a shame. She got signed to a division of Virgin called Y2K Records, and she was discovered. She was seen by Michael Jackson. So it's a shame.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
shame. Yay. Michael Jackson, guys, is the one that she discovered Brooke. So she got signed to Y2K Records, released her debut single, "The Kiss of Goodbye." The video can be found on my Pop Rush channel too,
yeah.
for
Yes.
those who don't know. She released this album, which failed to enter the charts. The single "Kiss of Goodbye" did enter the Billboard. It's a rare chart. U.S. sales chart at number 28. But
Okay.
the album failed terribly. So it sold very low copies. She didn't receive more promotion because the record label folded. So she didn't have more promotion, more help. So all the tours and the activities she was programmed to do were canceled because there was no more money to keep supporting her, and so there was plans for her to release a second single called "Thought You Might Want to Know," which was only used as a promo single and no video. And well, unfortunately, things didn't go well for Brooke, which is a shame because she was 14 when she released this album and she was amazing, you guys. I mean, she had a great voice. This album is pure pop perfection, for those who love real bubblegum pop music like we do. This album has it all. And well, years later, she got signed with Kris Jenner, mom of the Kardashians, who joined them, joined her and other four girls to form the Beach Girls Five, also known as BG5. They were a little successful because their songs were featured on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, so they were having some promotion in this show. They released three singles: Scratch, Unbreakable, and Lay a Little Sunshine. But unfortunately, the group disbanded, and then Brooke decided to join another band, more like pop rock, called Amira. And she was doing very well. She was singing with her boyfriend. She was having, internal tours, more like in bars and restaurants and stuff. But all of a sudden, she had a heart attack and she fell into a coma. And she's been like that for the past 5 years. Unfortunately, there's haven't been any changes. Her mom sent me a message because I made a video of Brooke in my Mariel Talks Pop channel, and explaining her situation, and she answered me saying that she was having small changes, that she would sometimes open her eyes but fell asleep again. So her mother opened this GoFundMe webs how you call it,
Fundraiser.
Pound? Yeah. Like a
yes,
pound?
it's a recovery fund. It's a recovery fund. And she keeps asking people to help them because the care that is needed for Brooke is really expensive. So she's 36 years old. She's been like that since she was 31. So we will keep her in our prayers so she can recover soon because she's so young. She's such
Yes.
a young soul, and well, I really admire her, and she's really underrated. And well, let's hope that she wakes from this coma and that she releases more music soon because a lot of fans out there are waiting for her. So
Yes.
get well soon, Brooke. We keep you in our prayers.
Yes, totally.
Yes. And now to finish, Mao, who is your last singer? Because we've been talking for a while, so now it's your last.
Yeah. I was thinking about this Brooke situation, and it's very sad. And we send like the best wishes for her family, and we as a fans, and as a human beings, expect that she recovers someday. Of course. Well, to finish this list of underrated princesses of pop, I want to highlight Tonja Mitchell that I know you love. I know Maria love. Look at us. Do you love this girl?
I really like it. Love is a strong word.
Okay. Mariel had the CD. Perfect. So
Yes.
she started as a country singer. Uh, she was like in a hospital or something like that. And Bill Boomer, that is the Justin Timberlake granddad, listened to her singing and offer her the opportunity to help her in the music industry. So she was at first signed with Just Time Entertainment. That was a label that Justin Timberlake was the manager and the owner. And Lynn Harless, that is the mom of Justin Timberlake, was her manager. I don't know what you think, guys, but when Justin Timberlake tried to discover an artist, it was not good. Did what did happen with Esme Denters and happened with Tonja Mitchell? I don't know what happened, but I don't think Justin Timberlake is a person who is like giving look or success for this artist. I don't know what you think, but this girl then signed with Universal Records, that is a bigger company. She was 38 in the Billboard Mainstream Top 40. It was not possible for her to be in the Billboard Hot 100 with Broken Promises. That was her first and only one single, I think. She was part of this Pop Odyssey tour with, of course, NSYNC in 2001, and she then had the opportunity. Yes, she was part of this tour, and in July of 2001, her father dies. So she decided not. She decided to step away for the music industry, to take care of her family and to spend time with her family, and that's the whole story. The good news is we have this city that Mariel has. That is, I represent. It's a very good city. It's a very good representation of a pop artist in that moment. I think when I see this album, I know that why the Tonja started doing country music, because when I see the cover of that album, it's not very. I don't know what you guys think, but it's not very pop. It's like you see that cover and it's like this girl is country or something like that. It's like an Alien Rhymes, and then you listen to the album and it's very pop because Broken
Yeah.
Promises is like a huge pop banger.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the hat and everything. So for me,
There's
she's
no
very
music
country.
video. Is it was difficult to know about her identity, I know. I think.
Yes, yes, yes. And in an
No.
interview that I was watching the other day, of course, she was very compared at that time with Britney and Jessica and all the things. And for these girls, was very difficult to step away from this image. So I want to be me. In this interview, Tonja says that I want to be me. I want to be Tonja. I'm not Jessica or Britney, but come on, it was very difficult because all the
Yeah.
songs sounds exactly like the same. I
For
think
me,
it's a good.
sorry.
Go ahead, Frank.
For me, this girl is the most confusing case because she was like in a big label, no music video. There's this story that she gave up music uh, a little bit later of the release of the album, but there's a few tracks online that was supposed to be in her second album. Like there's one track called "Bad Girl" or something that is
Yes.
very pop, and there's a few photos of her in 2003, like very Britney, like very blonde,
She
Very
looks
uh,
so
blunt,
much
yeah.
like Britney. Yes.
so much. So it's very confusing because she was always there, but not there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I can explain.
Unfortunately. Yes.
I think the problem with Tonja was like it was not her identity. I think she was more like a country girl, like a country singer. I don't know. I perceived it from her because I don't know. Maybe because in that moment of the music, the trend was these pop bubblegum songs. Maybe she was a representation of that in this year. But I think maybe it would be a clever movement to for her to be a country singer like Leanne Rimes or something like that, and then moving to the pop sound. But I don't know. I really like this album. I really like Broken Promises. I think she has a great voice, but I don't know what happened. Yeah, it's very confusing.
Okay,
Yes,
you're right.
definitely. But yeah,
Last
well,
but not least, Miss Tonya Mitchell.
Yes.
yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mo. Yes, we are talking about this very underrated Princess of Pop,
Yeah.
like we just mentioned. And like I told you at the beginning of this video, if we didn't mention the ones you were hoping for, beware because we might do a second part or even a third part of this because there
Yeah.
are a bunch of singers out there that deserve a shout out. So be
Yes,
still,
totally.
guys.
Yes.
So
So it's
now
time
that
for
we
the
just
game, so we can finish.
mention, yes, so we can finish. Luquitas, what do you have for us?
Okay, a few
Yes.
questions. Not so hard today. Uh, so we mentioned a bunch of singers. I want to know of you guys, which one, if you can choose, like, I will grab this girl and make her happen, like just one. Who would be? For me, would be Michaela for sure. I wanted her
Interesting.
to succeed. So, Marielle.
Um, I'm gonna go with the Latino power, so I'm gonna go with Joy Enriquez.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to go with Ashley Ballard. I really love her. Yes, and I think she had all the potential to become even more in the R&B direction. So yes.
Yes. Next question is a music video that never saw the light in this world that should be released for the singles of those girls. For me, would be Hottie by Ashley Ballard. It deserves a music video for sure because it was a great song. And for you, Marielle?
Um, I'll go with um, I'll go with Tonya and Broken Promises because I
Yes,
mean, how
you
can you
deserve
release
it. A music
a
video.
debut single and not a video? I mean, the same thing happened with I-5. You remember that, so
Yes.
mm.
And
So
you, Mo?
that would be
You take from me my options. It's not fair. I was thinking at first about Hardy and then about Broken Promises. Well, uh, I don't know because the other half. Well, maybe uh, there is a song that is called "Tangled" by Brooke Hogan. that I really love. It was not released in the album, but I love that song, and I think it would be uh, maybe a hit if they release at that time. So yeah, Tangled by Brooke Hogan.
Okay.
Actually, you answered my next question. That would be which song should be a single that wasn't.
Oh,
So
well,
no, you gotta choose another one for music
of
video.
course. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, oh, for musical video, I don't know. Maybe, well, the other Amanda song that I can remember that intended to be the next
Okay.
Oh, okay,
single. Do
yes.
you
Not
remember, Mariel?
not not the one for me. Yes.
Not the one for me. Yes.
Yes, and for me, the song that should be a single and wasn't,
Again.
"It Was You" by Ashley Ballard. It
Oh,
was on the
really?
Pokemon soundtrack, but wasn't a single officially, and I always dreamed the song as a single with a really pop music video and everything.
Oh, okay. I would choose Emotional by Michaela. That
Yes!
would have been a huge single. Don't know why they didn't
Yes.
release that song. Anyway.
I'm mad that I don't think about this because it's my favorite of Michaela's album.
Well, there you go.
Yes, you're
I
right.
I want to answer this question again because I have two. All I Ever by Ashley Ballard. That is my favorite song on the album. And Tonja's, I can't remember the name. It's a ballad. Can you see
I
the
Cry Real
album, Mariel?
Tears.
No, the other. Like
Uh,
actually, that song has a sample of a Geodesi song. I think it's the second one. Is the third one on the
Stay.
album? Stay. Yes, Stay. Thank you. Yes,
Okay,
that one.
Yes, it's beautiful.
good.
Now I want to know about the collection. What's your favorite item in your collection about those girls? Or if you don't
I
have
don't have
many,
any.
Mal, which one you wanted to happen? So start with Marielle.
I'm very happy with my Cherie collection because, as you know, I
Of
love her,
course.
and I am just missing the promo single of Older Than My Years. So I think
Have
that will
everything.
complete it all. So yes, I'm pretty proud of this one, and having Lindsay and Amanda. I mean, I'm very happy of my collection, so I'm very proud. So yeah, those.
Yes.
And what about you, Luquitas?
Well, mine I will show off, of course. I found something really weird from Michaela once here. That is this press kit.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow. What is
There's
that?
a lot of things inside of these, like stickers with her logo. And
Wow.
there's cards of her, and there's a single promo for "So in Love with You,"
Oh yes.
information CD-ROM, and her album.
That is beautiful. That is
Yes, there's
wow.
this thing like with her, all the story, like introduction to Michaela, and a tape, a VHS tape. That is
Wow.
how I discovered that all of this is from Brazil, actually, because I thought this was like
Really?
from US. And when I watch it, there's subtitles in Portuguese in the interview.
That's great.
It's weird.
Lucas,
So
But
now
I don't I don't even think that Michaela has all that stuff. You are the only one out
yes.
there.
Yes,
it's
yes.
crazy, right? And actually, I passed the VHS to DVD now, so I can upload the interview in that
Oh
channel that we
please.
mentioned
Yes.
before, so everyone
Please.
can watch it. And there's the video for So in Love with You" in this tape too. So it's very special to me because I never expected to find something like this, especially in
No?
Brazil.
No.
Yes,
So in Love with Two was released in Brazil?
kinda like I don't remember to listen on the radio, but there's a promo like pop jams for the radio in this month that the song is
Oh.
there, and a few compilations of dance music. There's the remix. too, but it wasn't a heavy promotion. Here, I don't know why this exists.
Okay.
And you, Mal,
Well-
which item do you wish to have since you don't have any?
Well, according what I said in the video, I want so bad the Willa Ford. Willa was here. Yes.
Okay. We'll keep
Yes.
that in mind.
Yes.
And
Yes.
to finish,
Thank you.
the last question is, when we finish this episode, which track that we mentioned or artist that would be the first that you gotta listen? Because that always happens with me. I gotta listen some music. Right now, it's playing in my
Yes.
mind. I represent by Tona Mitchell. So I gotta listen later. And you guys.
Uh, I think I'm going with you, Lucas, because right now Tonya is the one that rings my bell. Like, you gotta play it. So yeah, it would be Tonya. And
And
you,
you, Mau?
Mau?
That question is very funny because when you were showing this stuff very beautiful, this box, I was thinking like when I finish, I want to listen to So in Love with You. So it's very funny that you made that question. Yeah.
Yes,
That always
great.
happens. So, is the last one, guys? I think this is the longest episode we ever did.
Yes,
we gotta
because
finish.
there was a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Yes.
And I know that the audience that are fans of these girls would love this episode
Yes.
because
Yes.
there are no so much information in the internet in YouTube for these girls. So I know a lot of fans of these girls are expecting like, oh, I want to have anything like a video dedicated to them. So yeah.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
am pretty sure this episode is gonna be a hit. So,
Totally.
yes. Well, thank you. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Mau, for this amazing episode. We had a lot of fun. We learned a lot too. And we just can't wait to see you on the next episode, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Just anything else you guys want to add? Lucas, Mau?
Go ahead, Mo.
Thank you, Lucky. Yes. I want to say that you know that on every episode we have a playlist available on Spotify. For this episode it would be one playlist dedicated to all these girls. So check it out and listen to this playlist on Spotify.
Yes.
The Underrated Princesses of Pop by Redisa Pop.
Yes.
The playlist will be available on the description of the
Yes.
the video. And all I gotta say today is thank you for you guys watching. Thank you, Mariel. Thank you, Mauricio. And guys, don't forget to subscribe. It's very important. And that's it. See you next.
Yes. Thank
See
you
you
so much,
next.
everybody, for watching. Subscribe and give us a big thumbs up. We love you.
Bye.